All right, so I totally broke my own mixing rule. All right, guys. So I wanted to show you a quick video of what happens when you don't follow the system that you guys develop for yourselves on mixing. Now, I always start off mixing with listening to some reference tracks to calibrate my ears. And if I don't do that, because I mix exclusively on headphones, I don't get the amount of low end that I actually intend to get to compete with other tracks that are on the more professional level. And on top of that, I noticed that I tend to skew the high end extremely loud. So the high end is really loud, and I have almost no low end in my mixes when I don't listen to reference tracks. So I'm telling you this, don't be me, don't make that mistake. I was mixing this song for fun, and I didn't follow my own rule, and I completely broke it. And this is the result of it. So we're going to go ahead and take a listen to what the mix sounds like prior to any changes that I made that fixed the high end and the low end. And then we're going to listen to a reference track to see how far, or in this case, how close I got to it. But keep in mind, again, I mixed this entire song without once listening to reference tracks. And let's go ahead and check that out now. All right, that may sound fine if you guys didn't have any kind of frame of reference, but let's go ahead and listen to a reference track. And this is a plugin that I absolutely love. It's called A/B Metric. It allows you to load in your favorite reference tracks, and you can A/B your mix between that particular song and then the song that you're mixing. So now we're going to listen to the reference of the song that I've chosen. In this case, it's the Black Dahlia Murder, Verminous. I really love that record. It was mixed by 2 Madston. Welcome to this wretched underworld. Where we never born, don't stop, we live and breathe. We are the ones that time's forgotten. If you were floating, heaven rotten. This is formation and and I can immediately hear way more sub bass, way more kick drum in there. The highs aren't as harsh, and just it's an overall much more balanced mix in terms of frequency. Now let's go back to my original mix and then take a listen to how drastic that is. That's kind of unbelievable, actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch back to the Black Dahlia song. I mean, honestly, compared to the Black Dahlia mix, it sounds insanely amateur. And I could have avoided this completely had I just started with a reference track. And it's something that I neglected to do. It's always in my pre-rituals. I don't know why I decided to do that. I think I was just bored, or I'm not entirely sure. I just started mixing without any frame of reference. And unfortunately, you got the crap that you just heard. Now, I did take the liberty of correcting my mistake with some mixed bus EQ. Now, this is something that is not typical for me. Now, the reason I did it here is because the proper way to actually do it would be to go through the individual tracks and then rebalance them with the volume and then some EQ. And that would take a lot longer than actually just putting an EQ on the mix bus. But again, in my opinion, to go to the individual tracks and fix the balances there is a much better way to do so, because you're kind of skewing the entirety of the mix when you do it on the mix bus, and you're causing all this EQ smearing and phase shifting and all this stuff. But for simplicity's sake, I wanted to just put on an mastering EQ that I have here, and I wanted to showcase what it would have been if had I taken the time to listen to a reference track and start with that frame of reference from the beginning, versus not doing so at all. So I have this slick EQ inserted on my master bus. It is going in right before my master bus compressor, which is my SSL master bus compressor. It's a really cool plugin. It's actually completely free, and I have 100 hertz shelf and below, so everything 100 hertz and below is getting boosted by 5 dB. And to attenuate the high end, I have everything below 10K being attenuated by 3 dB, and I do not have this mid band engaged whatsoever. In fact, I'm going to just turn it off completely. And that's extreme settings for a master bus EQ curve. 5 dB is a hell of a lot to put on your low end, and 3 dB to attenuate is a hell of a lot to attenuate on your high end. But as you will hear in just a moment, it's going to get me a lot closer to that reference track in terms of EQ balance, and allow the mix to actually sound a lot more competitive versus what it was before. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what it sounds like with the EQ and without the EQ. I'm going to go ahead and A/B that for you guys. Okay, and now you may be thinking to yourself, man, like that is a lot darker. There's a lot more of an imbalance, so it's kind of may look like a tilt EQ. The high end is kind of sloping down, and the low end is sloping up. But we're gonna go back to that Black Dahlia mix and listen to what that sounds like again, and comparative to what I actually have now with that slick EQ on my master bus. So here's the Black Dahlia mix. We're going to go ahead and go back to my mix with the EQ that I added, and let's see how that sounds and how close I got now that I have that new EQ there. So I just really wanted to show you guys the importance of reference tracks and what they could do for your mixes. Now, again, I want to preface this that by just adding this EQ on your master bus is not going to fix all of your problems. If you really, really pay attention, you're going to have a hard time differentiating the bass and the kick drum. There's almost no definition in the low end because this is boosting everything below 100 hertz, as well as some frequencies from the snare. And unfortunately, that is not the proper way to do it. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you want to go in their individual tracks and fix the issues there versus actually doing it on the master bus. And that's all I have for you guys today. Just wanted to show you guys something really quick and easy, something that you may have not been aware of, or if you are aware of reference tracks, how, in my opinion, you can properly use them. This is just my way of doing it, and not particularly the right way, just the way that I tend to use them. So if you like the information in this video, I would really appreciate if you guys liked and subscribed, and I would like to hear how you guys use reference tracks by go ahead and leaving a comment for me in the comment section below. Thank you very much, and see you guys in the next